Marcia, and welcome to the new Fairy Little Knitting Podcast. If I'm here seeing you, that means everything has gone well and I am able to podcast again, which I'm so excited to be back. I've wanted to record for a long time, and so what I'm actually doing is I'm pre-recording some episodes. So if life takes a bit of a dip-dab-doodle, then you'll still have content to watch. So welcome to all my new subscribers, and also welcome back to everybody who has been patiently waiting for me. It has been so long. It's been over a year, and let me tell you, everything has changed. Everything has changed. For me, it's everything's changed in the world. Like here I am, and we're at the end of the COVID pandemic phase 1. Hopefully there won't be a phase 2, but we're, who knows? It's 2020 that these things happen. Apparently, this is how we are now. Lots of things have happened. My whole life has changed. I've moved. I was homeless for a month with my girls, living in a trailer in a friend's yard. I have grown so much as a human. I understand myself way better than I ever have before. I've learned personal boundaries. Isn't that great? And I have also learned that I can also be very blunt is what I can be. And so having said that, like moving forward, it's going to be different, but it's going to be still all about knitting, which I'm very excited about. And I have been doing a lot of personal growth. I honestly, I see a counselor because what I came out of was torture and horrible, and moving forward, I want to be able to move forward without all of that trauma and darkness that I came out of attached to me. So I'm hoping to move forward with a totally clean slate. And I've been doing personal growth on multiple levels because we have been self-isolating. We started self-isolating here in the house in March. And so, but that meant total lockdown. Like I found out over the lockdown that I have an immune disorder as well. So that complicates things. Also was waiting for surgery, which also complicates things, but I have a date for that now. So it's all good. It's fine. I'm healthy. It's okay. It's just, it's a preventative thing. Because, just like dive in. Hey, Marcia, just hop on in. So my mom passed away from breast cancer. So I'm just having a surgery that decreases my chances of developing certain kinds of cancer because it's in my family. So I'm just being proactive, and that's all that is. So it should be fine. There's no concerns. But so that's going to be happening. By the time you see this, I will be completely healed from it. So it's all good. I completely got off social media. I was completely off Facebook for a year. I was hardly ever on Instagram. And I had to do that for myself. I had to do personal care. There was a lot going on Instagram at the same time. And while that was going on, it was in the Instagram Ravelry world. There was a lot of personal growth that I was going through anyway. I've read a book called White Fragility, and I've been doing work in that area, but also I've been dealing with my own personal trauma and stuff that I was coming out of, and life was just very, very, very heavy for me for quite a while. And I didn't want to bring that forward into the podcast. So I'm doing my work. I'm working on my work and working on my work and on my work. I have been knitting like crazy through this time. So let's head on into the knitting section. So one thing that I wanted to do was to make sure that when I started podcasting again, it was fresh. So what I did, you guys, is I went through all of my old projects. I think I had probably 10 old projects. And I either finished it or I frogged it completely. There was a Blackberry Cardigan that I had on the needles for 5 years, you guys. It was on the needles for 5 years. I picked it up and I was like, I'm going to finish this. And I looked at it and it was all intricate cables. I had the back done. I had one of the front sides almost done. And then I needed to do the other side and the sleeves. And I had no idea where I was because I knew that I had made adjustments, but I couldn't remember what it was and how it was. So I frogged the whole thing, and it was a lot of work. I love that cardigan. I would love to have that cardigan. It's just not in the cards for me right now. So I frogged that. I ripped it right out. It's gone. Off my needles. No more stress and worry about things that I didn't finish. I did finish a bunch of projects, but I lost the bands for the projects, like for the yarn. So some of the projects that I completed, I don't know what the yarn is, or I have a vague idea of what the yarn is. And I didn't want to bring that forward into the podcast, not being able to like tell you exactly what it is I was working on. So I have a little bit of a parade of some finished objects that I actually got off the needles. And then I started a ton of other projects. And one of my big projects that I have been doing is when I left the situation that I was in, I cast on a new design because I needed something that would take my mind off of everything that was going horribly wrong in my life. It was not what I wanted. And I had to learn to understand how I got there because of my own personality traits and flaws and what I actually allowed as acceptable in my life. So, so I started on this wrap, and it's gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. And let me show the back. Da, da, da. It is 5 skeins of lusciousness, and it was huge, and it was exactly what I needed to get my mind off of everything that was going on for me. It had to go on hold for a little while because I ran out of one of the yarns because I was just making it up as I was going along. And so I got a hold of the dyer, and she sent me another skein. So I finished it up, and then I wrote up the pattern, and then I redid it so that it would just call for specifically the amount of skeins that it needed, instead of having to pull into another skein. So one section I just had to make shorter, smaller. So yeah, this beauty is huge, but as per usual, I do enjoy a good giant knit. And it's 5 skeins. It is so much fun. And I've knit it already 3 times. So I will show you all of these lovely, lovely yarns. Start with the green on the edge. And that is, it's called Candy Apple. I do believe, just hang on a second. Oh, no, it's not. So the green on the edge is Black Cat Custom Yarns, and it's called Radioactive. So that's that beautiful flashy green on the outside. And it's the color that separates each section. Then I have, moving in, is the yellow, which is West Coast color. And that is in the Sunshine colorway. These are all sock weight yarns. But this one is a little bit thicker, I want to say. Yeah, it's 113 grams, so it's 367 meters. Yeah, it might not be. But this is the one that I needed a little bit of extra yarn in, and so this is the section that I actually reduced this yellow section. So it's not as many repeats as it is in this one. Now this blue is called Black Cat Custom Yarn, luxury sock, bigger on the inside, and this is a cashmere blend yarn, this one. So there you go. And then this multicolored one is Black Cat Custom Yarn, and it's called Malfunction. So Black Cat Custom Yarn, Malfunction. Do you like how I attach the yarn to the to the thing? Because I am so bad at losing it, and like losing what color is attached to what. So, and then the last color is this beautiful pink, and again it is Black Cat Custom Yarn, and it is in the Nomi colorway. So Black Cat Custom Yarn in the Nomi colorway. So it's 5 skeins. It's beautiful. It's knit from the center out, and then you knit on each side. And it is very cozy. It's something that you can wrap around yourself, or you can wear it like this. You can cross it, and if you want, you could probably tie it. Yeah, there's lots of options, and you can put a pin in it if you want, like a shawl pin, or however you want to wear it. It is so big and cozy, and I enjoyed knitting it so much, and it was exactly like every time I knit it, I was like, this is the balm of Gilead. Like it just soothed my soul so much through like the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life. And so that is that, and it is called, what did I name it, you guys? What did I name it? So this is called the Inward wrap. It's called Inward. And it definitely was what I needed for introspection, and I meditated a lot while I was working on it, and it's such a great knit. And now I'm going to show you it in the other 2 colors that I knitted up in. So this is my next version of it. It is black and purple and pink and gray. It is beautiful, and I got a kit from Ginger Snap Yarn, and it was a full set, and I bought it at Knit City with the intention of knitting this out of it. I hadn't finished the original version yet, but I already envisioned it in these colors because this is my jam. I love purples and grays and like pinks, and so I saw this, and it's just beautiful, beautiful yarn. They're all made to go together, which is so nice. So each of these colors they're all Ginger Snap yarn. So the black, gray, black color is on her Zest fingering, and it's called Onyx. Ginger Snap yarn, Zest fingering, called Onyx. And then the next one is Raspberry Sugar. And that's kind of like that. It's got like speckles in it. You can't see that well there. There, you can see the speckles a little bit better on that section. And yeah, Raspberry Fingering, or Raspberry Sugar, is that one, the speckled. And then this beautiful purple is called Wine Country. And the gray is called Silver Fox. So this is just a very light gray. And then the pink is called Cotton Candy. So that's that pink. And they all go beautifully together. I actually bought it with a matching bag, which is so pretty. But I have some things in it right now, so I can't show it to you, but I will show it on a future episode for sure. So that's this one. And you can see how big it is. It's so big and so comfy. And I just need to take some more pictures of this one and the next one I'm going to show you, because I want to have them all up when it gets published. Okay, so this one is more earth tones, but it has the pop of purple that I really like. So this one is so pretty. They're all very different, but I love them all so much. They have a bit of a different look, but they are just so, like I said, I just meditated a lot while I was knitting these. So the colors in this one, we'll start with the main color, which is the edging. So it's that purple color, and that is Fiddly Dye Works. And it's in the Adira colorway. And it's merino sock fingering weight. Fiddly Adira. So that's this one. That's how much I have left over after. And then the next color is this like pretty speckle color. That's what it looks like. And that is also Fiddly Dye Works. And it is merino sock in the Caris colorway, or Carrie's colorway. And these ones came, I believe they came together, or I put them together when I purchased them, and they just pulled the colors from each other. Yeah, I think I picked them out because they went together. And this one is Fiddly Dye Works. Oh, hang on a second. This is this color here, right here, is this one, and this is Fiddly Dye Works as well, and it's in the Gretchen colorway. And then the next one is this black and white, and this is called Newsprint, and it's by Apple Fiber Studio. And it's a newsprint in their fingering weight. It's Macintosh sock fingering weight, and this one's super fine alpaca, merino, and nylon. So I'll try to have all the information below for you so that you can just check everything out. And then the final color is this one here, and it's a little bit heavier than the other yarns, but it is Ginger Snap yarn. Again, Ginger Snap is actually one of my favorite yarns. So, and it's called Raspberry Cheesecake. So those are the yarns that are included in this magnificent wrap. So there's 1, 2, 3. So these are all my finished objects. I have been designing a lot because I'm actually planning on producing a book. So I've been creating designs for the book, but they will all also be released separately, and I'm going to have a paper book and an ebook, and then all the patterns will be available separately. So if you want to purchase them all separately, you can, but purchasing the book or the ebook would be a little bit of a savings from each of the patterns, so it's totally up to you which direction you want to go. Yeah, and I also, here's my parade of objects that I don't think this is all of them, but objects that I got off the needles while I was away. So my very, very first design, I started knitting out, I knit it out of a lace weight, and lace weight, what is it? I think it's a cotton. So my first design is called the Okanagan Orchard, that I designed like when I first started podcasting and knitting. And I was doing 2 different versions of it outside of the one that I designed that's in all the photos. One of them totally frogged, ripped it out, and it created a huge knotted mess, and I threw away a lot of yarn that day. And so that one was gone, and then I pulled out one that I was working on, and this was the one that I was working on, and it needed an extra section, and then it needed the edging to be knit on. So that's what I needed to do. But when I was working on it, the reason I had put it away was because I had not been paying attention when I was knitting it, and I just got in the groove of things, and I made a mistake, and one of these sections at the end is like twice as long as it's supposed to be. But I couldn't rip it back because this yarn is Noro. And Noro does not like to be ripped back. It will come in chunks and fall apart. And to be honest, I tried first. Then I realized my error of my ways. And I just went on from where I was. But I ran out of yarn. I was playing Yarn Chicken and I ran out. So I had to find this dye lot. It's color 54 lot A. And I went on a hunt for this yarn, and it took me so long to find it. It took me about a week to find it because I was looking in every single search engine possible, and I Googled it, and I finally found it, and it was twice the price as it normally is because it was no longer, it's a colorway that they don't make anymore. So when it came in, I sat down and I finished it, and it's very pretty. I really like it. It's lace weight, so it's super light. It's made out of cotton, so it's a cotton blend, so it's 50% cotton, 17% wool, 17% polyamide, and 16% silk. So it's very soft, it's very pretty. I love the transition of color. It's so lovely. And I got it off the needles, which I was very, very happy about because I needed to get, like I said, I was clearing off my needles and I wanted to get everything off so I could have a fresh start. So I was also working on a pair of fingerless gloves, and I cannot remember the yarn I was working with at all. I had already lost the band. It was gone. I think it might be Knit Picks self-striping is what I want to say, but I can't be sure. I'm fairly certain it's a Knit Picks though. If you know what it is, you can write it down below, and that would be a huge help. So this is a pattern that I am creating all on my own. It's a fingerless pattern. I do not have it written up yet, but I wanted to get it off the needles because it had been sitting there for probably 2 years. So I just worked at it, and it only took me probably a day and a half to finish. That's how far I needed to go. Maybe 2 days, because I was almost done one and then I had to do the other one. So it didn't take me that long because I just focused on it and got it done. But these are really cute. They're very comfy. They're good for if you have cold weather, but also if you need to text on your phone, you can. So that's what I was thinking. That's what I had in mind, is something that was versatile, so you could drive in them or text with them or just go for a walk and have your fingers warm when you go for a walk. So that was what I was thinking around these. So these aren't available yet. They won't be available for a while, but there they are, done. Another thing I completed was I was sent a kit from Wool and the Gang for a pair of socks, and I, again, don't have the button band, but I knit the socks up, and what made me put these away is, and you can see that they don't quite match, but the thing that made me put these away is that I was knitting them with wood needles, and I am not a fan of wood needles. It's a personal preference. Anybody who uses wood needles, that's okay. I'm not judging. It's what we all prefer. So, but I prefer working with metal needles. That's just my preference. And I'd put them away, and I was like, oh, I have to knit them on these wood needles. And then I just had an epiphany. Why? Why do I have to knit them on wood needles? I switched them to metal needles, and I had them off in a day. And so happy that they're done. And I stopped worrying about how it lined up, whether it was lining up perfectly or not. You can tell that because of the line here. But I counted rows as well. But they turned out well. I'm happy with them. They're very pretty. I haven't worn them yet. I might gift them to somebody. But yeah, so they're complete. But again, I don't I don't have the yarn information. Once this episode's over, all the non-yarn information will be out there. And this hat is just, I just knitted on 2mm needles, and it is a fingering weight yarn, and it is by Smith & U, and I do believe it is the, oh my goodness, it's like a candy colorway or something. I'm really gonna try and find that and write it below so that you can see what it is. But this yarn is so pretty, and it was so nice to work with, but it was just something that I just had, so that I just would knit when I was in the living room hanging out, and I could just knit it and talk, and it wasn't a big deal, and I wouldn't lose my spot, and yeah. So that is that. So that's all my finished objects that I'm going to show you today. I still have a ton more, and there's things I am working on that I cannot share yet, but I'm going to. Most of my knitting right now is designing, because I do want to have all of the designs ready for my book, and I have to go through and do all my editing for that. So yeah, and I don't want to get into too many details about like what has transpired over the last year for me. It has, suffices to say, it hasn't been excellent, and it has been very, very stressful. But I do have a home. I live in a home now that I'm renting, and I'm definitely doing the journey to healing. So I'm working on that, and yeah, and I'm just taking steps forward as you do. And I hope everybody is well and safe, and yeah, and until next time.